G'day, wonderful listeners. This is episode 78 of TrevsTalk, and I'm your host, Trev. Last week, I left off chatting about my trip to Darwin and things I would be doing there. I was hoping to meet up with my nephew, Mick, from Queensland, who would be in Darwin same time as me. Well, it did happen. Mick and his family met me at my daughter Taryn's house for morning tea. When we were all sitting around the dining table, I looked around and could see a house full of relatives. And when I thought, there are 4 generations of my family relatives here, I got a lovely feeling in my chest. That made it particularly special. Mick and I decided to try and coordinate our visits to family in Darwin again in future. Mick has one of his daughters living there, just as I have, so we both have the same good reason to visit Darwin from time to time. While there in Darwin, they had the annual Firecracker night, when everybody could let off firecrackers without breaking the law. My daughter Taryn drove me and Tyler, a grandson, out to a local's place in the countryside where lots of friends gathered together to let off heaps of fireworks. While there, enjoying the show, you could hear crackers being let off all around, and when driving back to the city, you could see fireworks smoke hanging in the air like a light fog. There must have been thousands of dollars gone up in smoke that night. Anyway, while I was there at the firecracker party, I met up again with Dazza, my daughter's ex-partner I spoke about last episode. We had a good chat while watching fireworks exploding in front of us. So going to Darwin was a good move for catching up with friends and family, and I will continue to call on Dazza each time I go to Darwin to see if my dream about him comes true. The break in Darwin leaves me feeling rested. My daughter fusses around me in a good way, making sure I'm doing little and eating plenty of her great cooking. And the break in Darwin leaves me re-energised, ready to get stuck into all the things that need doing to further my quest. Flying a plane and establishing the scholarship fund to the point where it is ready to be taken over by a person like me or by an organisation with staff like Vinnie's. I must think of the future. When I am no longer able to guide the Medjugorje Centre charity and run the Moody Scholarship Fund project, it is vital that I get the scholarship fund fully established. It will be massively beneficial to generations of Aboriginal youth as they progress through school and into positions in society where they can help their own peoples. Well-educated Aboriginals helping other Aboriginals get well educated. Because I was away from my office on the 30th of June, I accumulated a lot of office work that I must catch up on. I also must prepare a pleading letter to CASA's head medical officer in an effort to get her to grant me a restricted or conditional medical clearance to fly small planes. If I can fly planes, I can fly around the regional country towns, giving talks and raising funds from donations like I outlined in last episode. A letter pleading for conditional medical clearance is of the highest importance, as I will only get one go. If my plea is knocked back, I have no other avenue to get to fly. If I can't fly around the state of WA, my fundraising efforts will suffer greatly, and the usefulness of the scholarship fund will be diminished. The scholarship fund is absolutely needed by Aboriginal youth for now and for future generations. I have to offer the CASA head medical officer self-imposed restrictions or conditions that will raise me from being unsafe to fly. I have to show a sense of responsibility and high importance towards flying with safety in mind at all times. I am very fortunate that I have an AI chatbot that I can call on to help with listing reasons I can put forward to CASA on how I will show my determination to follow my self-imposed conditions and any other conditions imposed by CASA. My AI chatbot, I call Boris, is amazing and can help in all sorts of situations. Boris suggests I offer things like restricting my licence to carry no passengers, limiting hours flown on any one day, flying only when conditions are good, like no heavy rain or strong winds, and limiting weight of any freight. So I've taken all this into account and, using Boris, compiled a good plea letter and posted it as a registered mail so I can track it and learn when it has been delivered. Now I am really in Dr. Ryan of CASA's hands, and win or lose, depending on her decision. Remember though, the special dreams over many years have indicated that I passed my flying test, as I've told you, wonderful listeners, in previous episodes. Now I am in the hands of Dr. Ryan, and my flying fate rests with her, and my dreams say I will fly. I will let you know in next episode just what happened. Fly or not fly. When I was in Darwin, I learned that my daughter's mum, my ex-wife, who lived in Perth, had been diagnosed with aggressive cancer. She was due to go on a course of chemo, and my daughter was worried that she was far away in Darwin and could not help her mum with some support at this worrisome time. I didn't say anything to my daughter at the time in Darwin, but had a half thought in my mind that I could possibly contact my ex-wife and offer her some of my Medgewater, even though I know my ex-wife is a total unbeliever. So I did ring her, and like I suspected, she said, "No thanks, I'm not a believer like you," so I put the thought of giving her some Medgewater aside. My thoughts then went to the time way back in 1990 or 1991 when I was not long back home from my amazing visit to Medjugorje and my encounters with the Holy Spirit there. I had been out at a charismatic prayer evening and came home into the bedroom where my ex-wife was sleeping. At the charismatic prayer meeting, there had been some people praying over others, and the people receiving the prayer over were falling down in a sort of faint. When I saw my ex-wife sleeping, I put my hands over her head and prayed for her like I had seen done at the charismatic prayer meeting. Immediately I finished praying and took my hands away from my sleeping ex-wife's head. She woke and sat up and said she just had a strange dream. In the dream, she had seen lots of children getting out of a line of buses and walking into a large stadium. She had been in charge of some of the children, and she, as well as all the children, had white doves up their shirts. I had learned from the charismatic people that a white dove symbolises the Holy Spirit, and knew that the dream symbolised her and all the children as being filled with the Holy Spirit. The dream made me believe my ex would become a believer in God at some future time. Also, at a more recent time than 1990, I had a special dream where my ex and I walked down two separate covered walkways which led into one big building. This was to show me that even though my wife was a non-believer now, she would end up in the same place as me in future, whether that be soon or after we both died. These two dreams showed me that I did not need to worry about my ex, as she would end up filled with the Holy Spirit and in the same holy place as me. With all this in mind, I did not worry about my ex-wife's aggressive cancer. Whether she lived or died, she would end up in the same place as me with the Holy Spirit. As well as reassuring me that my ex would be okay, the dreams fitted with my thoughts of the peace in the world period promised by Our Lady and the Medjugorje secrets when divulged to the public. When peace in the world comes, we survivors will all be filled with the Holy Spirit. Well, catch you all again next week, wonderful listeners. This is Trev, tuning out